Hey everybody, I'm Dr. G. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, and today we're going to be talking about, does being in a bad relationship make you age faster? Y'all ready? Let's do this. One of my areas of expertise is working with couples, and all the time I see couples come in where one or both sometimes are chronically stressed. And what people don't realize is the impact that that relationship is having on them internally and externally. So one of the first things we're going to talk about is how it causes more rapid aging. There's a lot of good research here that shows that people under chronic stress, they have hormones that pump through their body more, that cause this aging, that negatively impacts the body and makes people appear older. The people that have been under chronic stress can appear up to 13 years older than people who haven't. I mean, I think most of us can relate to hearing about somebody where you go, wow, you can look at them on their face and tell that they have dealt with a lot of stress. You can see it visibly. And relationships can certainly contribute to this. So something I want you to ask yourself and to think about is, how many hours per week does your relationship cause you stress? If it's a few minutes per week, if it's one argument per week, that's one thing. But if there's frequent occurrences of guilt, frequent occurrences of feeling bad, conflict, feeling uncared for, feeling underappreciated, all of those things add up to feeling chronic stress. And as we've seen, people who handle stress better, and for people who emotionally regulate better, they also age better. Now, aging is not the be-all end-all. I get that, if you add a few wrinkles, it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, you've got to understand relationships and bad relationships can cause this. Now, you may be watching this video already because you've been to my website, you've taken my quiz, and it's given you an idea of the amount of relationship stress you're dealing with. If this isn't something you've done, I highly recommend going to my website. I'm going to put it in the description below, taking the quiz, and do the checklist. I have a checklist that you're supposed to do every week, and it helps you see patterns in the type of relationship stress you're dealing with and the amount of self-care that you're getting, because self-care can help offset some of these issues. Now, another problem that comes with this excessive chronic stress is being in a constant state of fight or flight. Adrenaline starts pumping through our body during fight or flight. The purpose of this system in our body is to help us escape danger. So, in a very primal sense, it might help us escape from a wild animal. Now, obviously, we live in a very different age, so that's not going to be very likely, but it's the same basic idea, which is that if you're in a relationship where you're constantly having to watch out for yourself, you're constantly having to think about the next move, you're constantly in a state of trying to avoid or escape things, it's the same thing. It's the same physical mechanisms within the body, and those can contribute to chronic stress. The last thing I wanted to talk about is, not only do we see external aging like gray hair and wrinkles, which is what I know a lot of people are concerned about, but there's also internal aging. It affects the heart, inflammation, anxiety. It can increase likelihood of alcoholism. Chronic stress can challenge so many systems in the body. And it's really important that people understand that having arguments all the time and being angry all the time, or being frustrated, or being accused all the time, or whatever it is that you may or may not be dealing with, that can lead to all sorts of changes in the body. Now, I have a course that helps people learn these things. It's a lot more extensive than what I'm talking about today, and you can also check that out on my website. If it's not available yet, it'll be available soon. And I highly recommend that if this is something you're dealing with, that you check this course out, you take our quiz if you haven't done that already, and you recognize there are ways to manage this, that things can be much better than they are. But if there's one takeaway that I want you to hear from this, it's that just like anything else, relationships can cause tremendous, challenging amounts of stress, and there's also ways to manage this, whether that's being in a different relationship or learning more self-care or insisting on more self-care. You can do this. So, anyway, my friends, as always, I want to remind you that you can handle anything. Until next time.